Welcome to the Cafe Nutty Show. I'm your host, the Goldsmith. It is the 27th of August, 2024, and we have a few things that have been a little bit of time in the making. First of all, we do have the Sao Paulo expansion. Secondly, we did actually have an airdrop with many people getting their Sparklet, with the caveat that it is in batches and some people may not have received their Sparklet airdrop just yet. The earnings leaderboard is in the process of being updated, fixed, or however we want to put it. And the cosmetic drop, because it is a Tuesday, cosmetic drop did drop for the season of Sizzle season. So we'll get into all of those things. And of course, to get things started, I guess I'm not going to do racing here. I was trying to get track heroes started. So we do racing the show as we discussed, trying to get or help people get through their requirements for the Gamified earnings. Caveat is apparently it likes to crash sometimes. So we'll get back and do that maybe later this week. But for tonight, let's look at what we can look at. And that is, of course, the news of the day. To start, all views and opinions expressed by myself, they're mine and mine alone. Should not be taken as game strategy or financial advice. Any views or opinions expressed by guests or contributors, they are theirs and theirs alone as well. Shouldn't be taken as game strategy advice. They're going to be taken as financial advice. They don't represent myself, the Goldsmith, the Cafe Nutty Show, or the game or the team of Upland. Look at that. Easy enough. Again, we have been seeing new city and then expansion, then new city, then expansion. It's been a while since we've had a good expansion that's been sitting there for a while. A city that has been matured, that has had a lot of the properties, minted, or the entire city minted, and really been pining or really longing for a city expansion, a real opportunity to get a bit of the city or a bit more of the city than we have, and we finally have one. Good to see you, Six Wicks. Good to see you, Cheese. Diabra, good to see you as well. Just Sean, get in here and let's take a look at that announcement. Some key dates, obviously, as with any city release. And the key thing is, or the most key thing is, this is a short notice. At least it's more than 24 hours, but it is a short notice. So if you didn't expect it to drop, and you were surprised just like almost everybody else, because Upland wasn't forecasting that there was an upcoming city release or an expansion. There wasn't something that's been talked about for 2 weeks. But it is something that I would say is due, because Sao Paulo, city that's had a decent amount of minting now, it's been in the game for a while. There's people who have interest in Brazil because it's a heavily populated, at least in the Upland, the cities are heavily populated. People use them for. There's a number of nodes that are in both Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro. There are many people who are from Brazil who do value both cities. So it is pretty good. It is an opportunity to have an expansion, and about time. We're thrilled. This is Upland's announcement. We're thrilled to announce the next major expansion of the stunning Sao Paulo, Brazil. Mark your calendars for Thursday, August 29th at 9 a.m. PT, as we introduce 4 new vibrant neighborhoods. Bela Vista. Oh my gosh. Where are my Portuguese speakers? Consolaxo, Jardim Paulista, and MoMA. Close enough. That's as close as we're going to get without getting a C Prato in here to help pronounce things, or someone else as of today. We're thrilled to announce the major expansion of Sao Paulo. Mark your calendars for this coming Thursday the 29th, 9 a.m. PT. The expansion will be vanilla release, meaning collections will be revealed only after all properties have been fully minted out, keeping the excitement high. Again, this is something that we tried with Paris, or Upland tried with Paris, and it hasn't been horrible. This idea that there's an encouragement to continue to mint out properties, because you won't know what is a collection or isn't a collection until it's fully minted out. Therefore, you might have to wait to find out your collection is a collection. You may hold on to properties longer than you otherwise would, because a lot of people, after the city release, you wait a week, you get the reveal. That's what the history had been prior to Paris. After a week, you have the collection reveal, and poof, people either sell their properties that didn't hit collection, or they go and they rush and buy properties that were collections, or they ultimately bought the properties for some other reason than the collection status. But it was that quick cycle where there was that purchase and then flip in a 1 week cycle, regardless of what sold out. And then obviously what doesn't sell out, what doesn't mint, the neighborhoods that are only partially minted, if they don't hit collection, there's less incentive for people to mint those neighborhoods out. I like the idea of seeing cities get entirely minted out as opposed to, hit or miss and the collection gets called and then people go and mint out the rest of the collection area and then they don't mint the area that doesn't hit collection. I like it. I do like it in many ways. Again, people would argue that, when minting properties just to find out what collections are, including the fact that those properties that I just worked so hard minting aren't collections. I mean, it's up to you. It's your game. There's plenty of reasons to hold properties other than to find out that you hit collection. So I think it is all fair the way these are being done. Each Thursday, any collections that have been previously minted out in the prior week, they'll be announced. If no collection has been minted out, none will be announced that week. We've seen this in Paris where we got these, every week, new collections. And then we had a blanker this past week. No collections have been fully minted out, newly fully minted out, meaning that there are 3 collections left in Paris that we're waiting for 1 or 2 properties or maybe more to get minted so that those collections can be revealed. Collections that include locked properties will be revealed as long as those properties are continuing to be locked at the time, and every property that's not locked is fully minted. Again, the consideration here is if there's a property that is a landmark, it might not be minted, it might be represented on the map, but if it's locked, then we would still consider that as a minted out neighborhood. All collections will be revealed by the end of the harvest season. That is Friday, November 15th, regardless. So, yes, there is a condition by which all the collections get revealed, whether or not they get fully minted out. That's a kind of a safeguard. If you are buying a property, you want to know its collection, you will at the very least know it's a collection by November 15th. That's a good safeguard. That's a good, in case A doesn't happen, then there is a safeguard to get your collection revealed anyways. And waiting a couple months to get that reveal, for me, not the end of the world. Up to you and your strategy, of course. And at least you know up front. If you can't wait 2 months to find out if you have a collection or not, then either mint out the entire city, or maybe this isn't the city for you to mint in. But this seems like a strategy that Upland's probably going to replicate. They're probably going to continue to do this. It makes sense that it works in many ways to encourage people to mint more properties, and it works in many ways to keep people excited about the properties they are minting. If they are continuing to mint in the city, there's always that small chance that they hit a collection that they didn't know to be a collection. Until properties are fully revealed, their collections are fully revealed, there's always a chance. There's always a chance that you may be holding on to a property that hits collection later, which gives you that second to pause on whether or not you want to sell properties that you hold in the city of Paris that still has 3 collections that are unrevealed at this time. So for Sao Paulo expansion, we're adding 22,000 new properties, which isn't a crazy large number. It's nice to see these small releases. Gives the opportunity for the people who are, interested, who have a little bit of pent-up demand. There's plenty of properties to mint, except there's not so much that we're really changing the ecosystem of the city that's already there. Hopefully there's enough interest that we see the majority of those properties get minted in short succession. And then, of course, with the 3 new collections, if they all get minted out, every single property, then we're going to get the reveal of those 3 new collections. The total expansion neighborhoods is 4 new neighborhoods. Again, of those 4 new neighborhoods, there are 3 new collections. There are collections that already exist in Sao Paulo, which includes the Sao Paulo collection. So if you don't have any properties in Sao Paulo, you mint 3, you at least know you can put them in the Sao Paulo collection. Low price is 1,464 UPIX. That's not a large number. I'm sure there's not very many at that price. High price, 619,415 UPIX. If you want a really expensive property, call your own in Sao Paulo. We've got an opportunity for you. There's only 203 properties of the 22,000 plus or minus properties that are over 100,000 UPIX. So that gives you an idea on the scale side of things. So, if you want those more than 100,000 UPIX properties, they do exist. There's 203 of them, but it's not like it's a large degree or large percentage of the overall properties that will be available of the 22,000. Average price overall of the 4 new neighborhoods we're getting is 16,464 OPEX. Gives you an idea of a budget. You want to buy 10 properties and you have 200,000 OPEX? It's possible. It's possible to do. FSA allocation, about 20% of those properties that are coming to Sao Paulo in these 4 neighborhoods are going to be FSA reserved. That means that 80% are going to be available for people who may not achieve or may be outside of FSA status. Makes sense to me. Treasure hunt tier is going to be tier 4. That's what the city already is. Future expansion. Yes, there'll be more. So we're getting 4 new neighborhoods in Sao Paulo, and there will be additional expansions. And I think this is nice that it's not an all or nothing. We know that there's some neighborhoods that aren't fully released in Sao Paulo. We don't just give you everything at once. This is the idea that I think Upland should have had much earlier, and how well they use it moving forward, we'll have to see. There is a backlog of properties in the game of Upland that are unminted in previous cities, so that is worth considering. But as demand grows, as there's more people in Upland, which there hasn't been a huge expansion in player base, we're looking forward to continued growth in player base as there's more reason for people to have more properties in more cities, and then we slowly expand the cities that we have. I'm okay with it. I'm good with it, and I'm glad they're not over dipping here. That we're not giving us 250,000 properties like they used to in a city release. Again, small city releases, hopefully following our player growth, or at the very least the demand for those properties. Expansion map. For the expansion, we are unveiling 4 dynamic neighborhoods. These new areas are highlighted, showcasing the latest additions to Sao Paulo. This is nice. We already have these neighborhoods we know about that are already there in Sao Paulo. We can see Republica, we can see C. We already know those are there. Liberdade, there that is. Santa Cecilia, we see that. These are all the neighborhoods that we already have. And now we've got 4 new ones. Ooh la la. We have the Jardim Paulista. We have MoMA. We have Bella Vista, and then we have Consoloca, maybe? We'll have to check with our Portuguese speakers at some point to get a better pronunciation there. But there we go. We have 4 new neighborhoods coming in. Launchpad properties. There are some launchpad properties. If you want to have a property to start with, to drift in, to get started for the competitive mint, we have 3 properties for you to choose from. Avenida Iray, that is 767 Avenida Iray. Again, we have the numbers after the streets in all of Brazil here, I believe, but specifically in Sao Paulo. So Avenida Iray, 767. We have Rua Groenlandia, 492, and then Rua de Consloca, question mark, 2172. NFT.Brazil and Upland. Here we go. We're expanding in a city for a reason. We've talked about partnerships in the past. We've talked about the value in building value in a city or building value in a release. Why are we releasing the city? Here's a reason. In celebration of this expansion, we're thrilled to partner with NFT.Brazil, a leading event in the Web3 space happening at the iconic Benal, I think we got Do Park. Yeah, maybe Park. Close enough. Oh no, there's more. But wait, there's more. Do Eber Pira in Sao Paulo. Upland will be making a significant presence at the conference with an exclusive gameplay activation. Whoa. Exclusive gameplay activation. That means, at least from my experience with gameplay activations, there is some part of the game of Upland that's going to be expanded, whether it's new racing dynamics, whether it's a new form of gamification of the game of Upland altogether, that gets launched live while there or during the event, and then it's opened up to everybody. And again, open to the people who are there, but then open up to the world as well. Generally, demonstrating how creators can use Sparklet to build an Upland. Gameplay activation. Okay. Stay tuned for more information, more details about this event in the next coming weeks. Get ready to dive into Sao Paulo's exciting expansion with new neighborhoods, thousands of properties, and hidden collections. This is your chance to make your mark. The journey begins on August 29th. Don't miss out. August 29th, 9 a.m. PT, like every other city release, just about. Trees, good to see you. You to you too. Again, this is a nice way to keep people who are in the game of Upwind, who are engaged, who like city releases, engaged. If we drop a ton of properties at once, not as exciting because we just have the excitement up front, and then we have all these properties that nobody knows what to do with or why they want to mint. The smaller cities, again, you can have that competitive mint with 22,000 properties. People can decide what properties they think are going to hit collection, mint those properties. People who just generally want more properties in Sao Paulo have more properties that they can mint in Sao Paulo. And again, this release, give me a reason why we're releasing this city at this time. Okay. NFT.Brazil, there's an event that's happening in the not so distant future. Upwind's going to have a strong presence there. And oh, by the way, we're going to release a expansion of Sao Paulo to celebrate this. It makes a lot of sense to me. And it makes sense that when we move forward, that there's a reason why we have expanding, Paris at a certain point. Let's have Paris all minted out when we go to do the expansion. It would be great if there was some event that was tied to it. And there's many other cities in the game of Upwind that are ripe for an expansion once they have a good mint out, once there's a reason to expand those particular cities. And again, this is this coming Thursday at 9 a.m. PT. Be prepared. And just like any other expansion or minting, obviously you got to travel in. There's a lot going on right now between now and Friday the 30th to work on your gamified earnings. And, there's some things you can do in Sao Paulo. Maybe you're going to you're going to a MetaVenture to buy some NFTs. Maybe you're going to do some other things along the way. Maybe your car is there and you're going to travel between Sao Paulo and Rio and then come back again. I don't know. There's a lot of ways to get some gamifications checked off as you travel, as you get over to Sao Paulo, if that's where you're headed for this coming Thursday. Let's take a look at our Tuesday. There we go. We got it. Our Tuesday tradition here inside of a season. If you buy the cosmetic pass every Tuesday, there is a drop. We're going to take a look at that drop together. There we go. Pass for week number 4. Drops are now live. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, we know there's rarities. We don't care about those. Blocking score background axes. I've got some thoughts here. And then we got this Night Fang Dragon Scale, like Scale Mail. And then we have this Sea Fang Dragon Scale Mail again. You got this medieval, Dungeons Dragons. I don't know what the theme is here. I think I know what the theme is here. I talked about early in the season when they first put out the graphics and we saw the lettering, and I said, "Ooh, that looks like Hearthstone." I think they're leaning into this other gamified element that's outside of Upland that is not something that's directly tied to Sizzle Season. Sizzle Season celebrating the summer, celebrating that time of year when you put on the flip flops to go to the beach and maybe have an umbrella and maybe you got a beach ball. Those are things that I would associate with Sizzle Season, not Hearthstone. So Upland is, and they have been going with these themes. And even though it's late time of year, it's either late summer or we're gonna get into harvest season here shortly, and we're gonna get into the holiday season. Even though we're in those seasons, Upland's going to be choosing these themes that may or may not have anything to do with those seasons. And I still am going to complain about it. But no, it's a choice Upland's made. So this is supposed to be getting to this little fantasy thing that they have going on for this season. Okay, I'll allow it. Again, we've seen these looks like lava. They've been playing with lava. Now they're kind of playing with this idea of maybe dungeoneering a little bit, some armor, some scales, some axes, and the kind of this idea of medieval type or gaming type dungeoneering D&D. And as I said, it looks a little bit like Hearthstone in the cards and the lettering and all of those things that they have built in there. Drops every Tuesday until the end of the month. We are not end of the month, sorry, end of the season. We're about ending this month, which means we have half of next month, which will continue to be sizzle season. We will have 2 more drops. We'll have on the 3rd, September 3rd, and September 10th. So if you have your cosmetics pass burnt, you have 2 more drops that are going to happen this month. So, or this season into next month, into September. So we'll keep our eyes out for those. And those rewards, again, rewards for having burnt the cosmetic pass, they will be yours to keep, but they are not NFTs. You cannot exchange them. We've gone over this, and we continue to go over it, just for those who are looking to buy their first pass, knowing what they're getting themselves into. There is a note. This is just a piece of housekeeping, but it's definitely worth keeping your eyes out if you are one of the people who was affected or concerned by it. There is, and I'm going to say is because I believe it's still happening. There is an issue with the Gamified earnings leaderboard where it's not fully reporting, not reporting everything correctly, and not displaying accurately for people. That is being corrected. Upwind does know, they're investigating, and they're going to go push a fix. That way, when you look at your Gamified earnings, so you know what you've done and what you have as you get ready for Friday the 30th, or you could say Thursday because you want to do your last chance to do some of these Gamified tasks to increase your multiplier. That hopefully it's accurate. So Upwind is going to make sure it's accurate. Hopefully it gets done tomorrow, Wednesday. So there's a little bit of time for people to look at that board, see what's going on, and complete tasks to get more tasks done along the way, getting a better multiplier for themselves, and more Sparklet headed their way. On the point of Sparklet, congratulations to everybody. So congratulations to everybody who's gotten their Sparklet. Not everybody has, and that's okay. Upwind did announce yesterday that we'd be getting emails. Let's go back to that. Maybe we can find it. I don't know. Maybe it's there. That we'd be getting these emails, and a lot of us did, or everyone did, I should say, that earned it so far as I know. These emails for Chapter 2 Airdrop, essentially stating the amount of Sparklet you should be getting. And like I said yesterday, the amounts were pretty decent, at least by my standards. Based on the amount of work I did, based on the fact that I value Sparklet by utility in the game of Upwind and not by current pricing on exchanges, very happy. I was very happy with the amount of Sparklet I got. I know what I can do with it. I know that it increases my holdings significantly, at least as a percentage of what I currently own. Significant increase. I've got more Sparklet coming. I'm happy. All smiles. If you haven't received yours yet, keep in mind Upwind's announcement yesterday was that within 48 hours, they do get released in bunches or batches, I should say. And because that is being pushed out in batches, you may not have received yours yet. But again, Upwind did save a 48-hour window, which we're still well within. Keep that in mind. And you can check your email, see what your amount's coming, and then you just see if that hits. If it's been more than 48 hours since yesterday at 6:21 p.m. East Coast time, or 3:21 p.m. Pacific time, you can go ahead and send a message. So tomorrow, 3:31 p.m. PT, if you haven't gotten your Sparklet, hasn't hit your account, send a message to support@upwind.me to let them know, and maybe they'll direct you in the right direction. Again, 48 hours is a good window. Give them that opportunity. Get outside that window. And feel free to ask and request and find out some more information. Well, let's take a look at one thing that is a surprise but isn't. We already had a Block Explorer sale in Upix. That was kind of nice. It sold quickly. But, Upwind does make its money by selling packages in USD. That's how it's done. Upwind receiving Upwind receiving UPX only does so much, and then because it's just washing between pools, and then Sparklet and Staked does much. Upwind sort of, if Upwind was selling Sparklet direct, some of the Sparklet that they hold as a company, selling that Sparklet USD inside the game, which we haven't had yet since the TGE. Had one of those sales, that could be Upwind making money and put it in their pocket so they can pay all their staff. If that's not what's happening, if we're not selling Sparklet, we have to make money some other way. Hey, good to see you, KO. I'm glad you're here. And that other way is selling bundles of things. We'll talk about what I think about the art this time around. We'll talk a little bit about the way Upwind's been in their seasons, which I just complained about. But it is an opportunity for people to spend UPX get USD, get some UPX, and get a reward along the way. And that's the classical way that Upland did make money in the past, or receive USD, selling, giving people rewards. People may be more interested in the reward, more interested in the UPX. Ultimately, Upland is more interested in the money because that's how they pay their staff. At everyone, we're pulling out the hottest of the hottest assets. Don't agree. Hottest of the hottest assets around as we push towards the end of sizzle season. You will be able to pick up some fiery Block Explorers, stylish map assets, or a truly slick from the store tomorrow, Wednesday the 28th of August, 9 a.m. PT, with registration being open from 9 a.m. PT today. Again, that registration is open today, right now. We'll go take a look at these and the sales and the pricing, but we'll take a look at the announcement a little further here as well. Make sure you don't miss your chance to get your hands on these. They're guaranteed to give you some much needed cool points. Plant! Don't make guarantees that you can't stand behind. Guaranteed to give you some much needed cool points in this heat. Again, hyperbole, or I don't know, sarcasm. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't know if we can quantify what cool points are. Maybe Upwind has to decide what cool points are, and they're well within their rights to do so. Who knows? Wearables again are not sold that often. It's nice to see a wearable sale. The way that this sale is being done, we'll get into the specifics, but the way this sale is being done, you're buying some UPX, you're getting a reward, which is always nice. Here are some of these exciting packages that you have to choose from. So there's the Sizzle Season map assets. So the Sizzle map assets. Pick from 3 unique Sizzle themed map assets to add some 30. I'm going to make the argument these aren't Sizzle themed. These have nothing to do with Sizzle. They have to do with the theme Upland has described to this particular Sizzle season, which is like, I don't know, dungeoneering or something. But these are not, I would say these aren't very Sizzle-tastic. There's not very end of the summer, the heat is out. A gargoyle doesn't make me think about, standing outside at the beach in my swim trunks with a little bit of sunscreen on my nose. That is not what I'm thinking when I look at that gargoyle. That is not what I'm thinking when I look at this, aka Justice Stand, aka, as I would call them, the stocks. More correctly, it's interesting that Upland thinks that stocks are a form of justice, not a form of justice in any way, shape, or form. Form of public humiliation, sure. Justice, not so much. Serpent's Spring. There you go. That's a pump well. Serpent Spring. There's 100 of each of these available. So this is going to be a bundle sale, 1 per each, with the idea that it's randomized. You don't know what you're going to get. Then we have this wearable, the Ironheart Nomad wearable. Dress up your 3D avatar with the Ironheart Nomad wearable, offering a sleek, stylish look. This is not bad. We had one that was kind of similar before, but this is what we're looking at. Ironheart Nomad. And again, we'll get into the pricing here and what that looks like. And then we have the Block Explorer UPX bundle. Multiple bundles. And we've had these in the past, and I've made this argument. You have these scaled Block Explorer bundles. You have the more expensive one with fewer overall Block Explorers, meaning that some people would say that the lower edition, the edition that's a lot smaller, has a higher value. I think in many economic circumstances, with laws of supply and demand, again, art matters, but with laws of supply and demand, with rules of rarity, generally speaking, that is correct. And that's what Upland's done this time. They've omitted that format in the past, and they're going back to it this time around. So you've got the thing that's the rarest, the least rarest, and they are in different bundles. And the one that's the rarest should have a higher price, and the one that's lowest, most common, should have a lower price. That would be the argument. Let's take a look. Key dates and pricing. Registration starts on Tuesday, the 27th of August, 9 a.m. PT. The sale is Wednesday, the 28th, again, tomorrow, 9 a.m. PT. And the price here, $10 to $20. I say because that's incorrect. We'll take a look at these actual pricing, but the flyer says 10 to 20. It's kind of correct, but not really. Get ready to register and make sure you're in line when the final Sizzle season drops go live. What? A Sizzle season drop, as far as I'm concerned, is a cosmetic drop. We have 2 more left this month, as we already mentioned, the 3rd and the 10th. This is not a Sizzle season drop. This is a sale opportunity. You have an opportunity to buy. They are a randomized sale. You have a gated sale where people get put in line in different positions, and the person who's front of the line has the first chance to purchase, and the person in the back line may not have a chance to purchase. But that's not a drop, not as far as I'm concerned. Not when we already have a parlance to say that we have a cosmetic drop that's happening every Tuesday. But that aside, let's take a look at how this sale is actually working. Again, registration is open now. You do register, you get a spot in line. It is randomized, so you don't know if you're going to be first or last in line. The better your number, the earlier you are, the more likely you are to get what you want if you want something. But you had to pay. Let's take a look at the pricing. Registration here for the Sizzle map assets. It's $12, $11.99 to purchase. If you're given the opportunity to purchase, registration just puts you in line. Watch this. Boom, boom, boom. Verified, boom. Just gives you the opportunity here to go ahead and purchase tomorrow if you have a good spot in line. Again, $11.99. What you're getting if you do this purchase, excuse me, with this limited sale, you will acquire 1 of 3 models of the Sizzle season asset. $12, $11.99. Ooh, look at that. There's another sale here. Here is the Iron Heart Nomad. This is $11.99 as well. There are a total of 75 of these available. I'm going to register for this one as well. Look at that. Congratulations. You are in queue. Whoop, whoop. And then we do have down here, this is the Block Explorer. If I take a look at this Block Explorer, this is what we're talking about. You're buying Upix, you're getting a reward. This is what the classic version of these sales were. Yes, Upwind now sells assets that are direct purchase sales. That's what this is. The Iron Heart Nomad, that's a direct purchase sale. You're paying $12 because you want that wearable. You're not paying $12 to get 12,000 Upix and a wearable. You bought something for a price USD. But back to what was common at one time, you pay a certain amount of USD, you get a certain amount of Upix, you also get the map asset, or you also get the Block Explorer. In this case, we're doing this with Block Explorers, not with the map assets, not with the wearables. 15,000 Upix you can purchase for $14.99, and right alongside it, you get the Fiery Goblet. Ooh, look at that. There are a total of these purchase. You get 15,000 Upix. That looks good. And you get the Fiery Goblet. Look at the Fiery Goblet. Look at the flame. Those little eyeballs there. Oh, look at that. Look at that. A total of 50 of these. 50 eyeballs work. 80. Hey, look at that. If my eyes worked better, I wouldn't have to lean in so close. 80 of those available. There we go. I knew I could make it bigger. 80 of those available. So, you registering for one of 80 spots, it's $15. 25,000 Upix and a Flameforge Lantern, $25 or $24.99 to be more precise. 40 of those available. Again, not huge quantities here. 50,000 Upix for $50, $49.99, 50,000 Upix. You also get the Templar's Blade. There's 20 of those total available. And then finally, $75 USD. You get 75,000 Upix. You also get the Goblin Forged Armor, and that is $74.99 the cost. As we said, there's 10 of those available, making it a pretty rare Block Explorer. This is back to a previous model that we've seen. It is a model that I've argued that makes sense to go back to, because Upwind's done a few of these where there's 300 of these, there's 300 of these, there's 300 of these. Okay, cool. This price. It makes sense that if you want the more rare version, you pay a higher price. And ultimately, you're buying Upix, if that's what you choose to do. If you really want to buy the Upix all on your own, you could. It's still available. I mean, some will argue that the difference between the USD and the Upix market is in such a place that you really shouldn't buy Upix unless there's a reason you're doing so. And again, if you want this Block Explorer and you think it's worth $75 to buy it from Upland because there's only 10 available, again, that's me putting my hands up. I do not have a horse in the race, not telling you to do it, not telling you you're stupid for not doing or for doing it. But it is definitely something that has to be something you really want for the money. And then you could say that the 75,000 Upix is just as a bonus. If you look at it that way, you can be happy with your Block Explorer knowing you're getting some additional Upix, or vice versa. If you really thought buying the Upix was the best thing in your position, or the best thing for you to do at this time, which again, I would argue maybe there's other ways to get Upix and you don't earn it or buy it at this time. But if I really wanted 75,000 Upix, I could spend $74.99 and get this free Block Explorer. You can look at it either way, however you want to look at it. Ultimately, it is cool. It is cool to see that Upland's kind of seeing the idea that, yes, something that's more rare has a higher price. That typically makes sense when it comes to Block Explorers. It is a digital asset. Upland could have decided to make 10,000 of them if they so choose. But by limiting it to 10 and make it a more limited market, if there's 50 people who really like that Block Explorer, who want that Block Explorer, and there was 100 of them available, and there's only 50 people who wanted them, well, then that would be one type of market. Again, they would have a larger supply than you have demand potentially. But in this case, if there's 50 people who want it and there's 10 of them available, then you have excess demand. You have more demand than you have supply. And if that's the case, that would make those, the rarer version, a little more valuable, potentially, as far as the market's concerned. So realistically, people still have to want it, right? You have to start with the demand, or for some reason, people that have demand. Sometimes rarity is something that influences how much people want something, but you gotta have the right art theoretically for people to want to buy the art. Is what I say. And that's just because I would love to celebrate the Sizzle season. I'd love to be able to say, I have this Block Explorer from Sizzle season 2024. When Sizzle season? Oh, it's summer. There's my beachscape. There's my umbrella at the beach with sand around it, and my beach ball is blowing around. That is something that celebrates the season, the time of year. I would like that. But, again, Upland continues with these themes that they just arbitrarily choose and ascribe to a certain season. And that's the way these are patterned. These are themed. And continue to see it. And likely, Upland's not going to listen to me and change that anytime soon. They're not going to properly celebrate a season of the year, which I would love. I would love there to be, when we get to harvest season, when we get into the fall, something that celebrates that time of year, and, pumpkins or whatever celebratory activities people do in the fall. Be nice to see those. But again, until that happens, this is what we keep getting. And if you like a sword, or you like this lantern, or this is the piece of armor that you really want to own, tomorrow's the day, 9 a.m. p.m. PT. At 8 a.m. p.m. PT, you're going to want to 8 a.m. Pacific time. There you go. 8 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. You're going to want to have that registered, or you're going to want to have clicked on the register. You will find out what you are in order between that hour, between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. BT. We got it this time. And then, of course, from there, you either purchase it or you don't. And if you purchase it, it's yours. Pretty simple. Looking forward, again, this coming Friday, the 30th, is going to be that snapshot. That snapshot is going to determine how much spark that you're going to get from this new airdrop series. So that's kind of nice. And that's where we are right now. We have this kind of looming promise that there's going to be something with utilization of Sparklet and how you use it in the game. Upland, some special activation that's going to be done at Upland at T. Brazil. So will be something to watch out for here in the not so distant future. And Thursday, Sao Paulo Expansion. So a lot going on this week. Kind of a few announcements today, but kind of exciting. So we'll leave tonight with saying thank you so much for being here Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. PT. We'll be here every 5 days a week. If we get some time tomorrow and I go and test things and everything's working really well with the track hero, maybe we'll do some races during the show tomorrow if we don't have a lot of announcements to do. I do want people to be as successful as possible to get as many of those requirements checked off the list to get as much gamified earnings as possible. So for tonight, thank you so much for being here Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. PT. Join us back. We'll see you then. And of course, if you're the Upland Cafe in the Upland Discord Cafe, feel free to unmute your mics. Floor is yours.